There's a phrase that can feel like a slap in the face when you're in pain. The phrase is, "You chose this." It lands like an accusation, a complete dismissal of the depth of your suffering, the betrayal that broke your heart, the job you lost that provided for your family, the quiet loneliness that settles in every evening. How could anyone choose that? It feels cruel. It feels wrong. And so, our first instinct is to defend our pain. We build a fortress around it, brick by brick. Each brick is a reason why it wasn't our fault. The first brick is what someone else did to us. The next is the unfairness of the world. Another is the bad luck we had. We build these walls high and thick because inside that fortress, our story is safe. The story says, I am the victim here. I was wronged. My pain is valid because I didn't ask for it. And in a way, this fortress does protect you. It protects you from the crushing weight of self-blame. It gives you a clear set enemy to focus on, someone or something outside of yourself. But there's a secret about fortresses. They are designed not just to keep others out, but to keep you in. You can stand on the ramparts and shout about the injustice. You can describe the unfairness of the battle to anyone who will listen, but you can never leave. The story that protects you is also your prison cell. The world outside your walls could be changing. New paths could be opening up, but you can't see them. All you can see is the familiar landscape of your own suffering, viewed through the narrow slits in your own defences. Here's where we get tangled up in how reality actually works. When we hear the word choice, we imagine a single conscious decision. We picture ourselves at a crossroads, deliberately pointing down the path labelled suffering. But that's not how it happens. The choice isn't one big dramatic event. It's 1,000 tiny, almost invisible agreements you make every single day. It was the choice to not speak up when something felt wrong because you didn't want to make waves. It was the choice to ignore that sinking feeling in your stomach, that quiet gut instinct that whispered, "This isn't right for you." It was the choice to stay in a conversation that was draining your energy, just to be polite. It was the choice to keep replaying an old argument in your head, giving it more and more of your life force. It was a choice to seek out the familiar comfort of a bad habit instead of sitting with the discomfort of trying something new. Each of these moments seems insignificant on its own, a single drop of water, but 1,000 drops become a trickle, then a stream, then a river that carves the very landscape of your life. You didn't choose the flood, you just kept choosing the drops. These are the patterns, the habits of consciousness that we mistake for personality. We say, "I'm just an anxious person," or "I've always had bad luck with relationships." We think it's who we are. We don't see it as a path we are continuously choosing to walk step by tiny step. And this leads us to the most terrifying and liberating paradox of them all. The story of "it's not my fault" feels empowering, but it leaves you completely powerless. Think about it. If your pain is someone else's fault, your ex, your boss, your parents, then the only way for you to be happy is for them to change. You have to wait. You have to wait for an apology that may never come. You have to wait for them to see the error of their ways. You have to wait for the world to become fair. You're a spectator in your own life, sitting on the sidelines, hoping the game will finally turn in your favour. But what happens if you dare to consider the alternative? What if you find the bravery to whisper to yourself, I chose this, not as an act of self-hatred, not to blame yourself, but as the ultimate act of reclaiming your power. The moment you admit you had a hand in it, you are no longer a spectator, you are the player. If you chose your way into this, then you can choose your way out. Suddenly you don't have to wait for anyone. The keys to the fortress have been in your pocket the entire time. Admitting your responsibility isn't about judging your past choices. It's about realizing you are the one who chooses. You have always been the one. And that means you can start choosing differently. Right now, in this very moment. That is the beginning of all true transformation. It's the terrifying, beautiful moment you realise the prison door was never locked. By the way, our shared space of light and awareness is on its way to 100,000 people. Thank you to everyone who subscribes and brings this moment closer. So you stand in the ruins of your own fortress, and for the first time, you don't feel like a victim, you feel like the architect. And the most important question arises, what now? The first step is to completely change your relationship with pain. We've been taught to see pain as an enemy, as a sign of failure, as something to be avoided, numbed, or destroyed at all costs. But within the architecture of how things work, pain is none of those things. It is simply a communication. Think of it like the smoke alarm in your house. The sound is loud, irritating, and you want it to stop. But you would never get angry at the smoke alarm itself. You wouldn't blame it for existing. You understand its function. It's not there to punish you. It's there to alert you to a fire. It is a feedback signal. Your emotional pain, that knot of anxiety in your chest, the ache of loneliness, the sharp sting of resentment, is a smoke alarm. It's a signal from the deeper part of you, from reality itself, saying, hey, the way you are thinking, the choices you are making, the situation you are staying in, it's causing a fire. For as long as you blame other people or the world for your pain, you're essentially yelling at the smoke alarm while the house burns down around you. But the moment you take responsibility, the moment you say, I chose this, you stop blaming the alarm. You turn your attention to the fire. You can finally ask the real questions. What belief is causing this? What pattern am I repeating? What am I afraid to let go of? The pain isn't the problem. The pain is the compass that was always yours, trying to point you toward the source of the fire. And what is the fire? It's the story you tell yourself. The way reality is set up is beautifully and sometimes brutally simple. It's a mirror. It doesn't judge your story. It doesn't edit it. It just reflects it back to you with perfect accuracy. If the story you tell yourself, consciously and unconsciously, is, I am not worthy of love, the mirror will reflect a world full of people who cannot see your worth. You will be drawn to emotionally unavailable partners. You will overlook the people who are ready to love you. You will sabotage good relationships to prove your original story correct. It's a loop. It's a pattern. The universe isn't punishing you. It's just honouring your instructions. It's reflecting your story. This is why blaming others is a dead end. It keeps the story of victimhood alive. And so, the mirror has no choice but to keep reflecting experiences of victimhood back to you. The ultimate act of bravery, admitting you chose the pain, is really about becoming the author of your own story. It's about picking up the pen. You don't have to start by writing. Everything is perfect. the mirror knows that's not true yet, you start with something small and honest. You change the story from "I'm not worthy of love" to "I am learning to love myself." You shift it from "the world is against me" to "I am finding my own way." It's a subtle change, but to the universe, to the mirror of reality, it's a completely new set of instructions. And it must, by the very nature of how things work, begin to reflect a new reality back to you. Ultimately, this isn't about an intellectual exercise of analysing your past. The past is just a collection of old stories. The true point of power isn't back there. It's here, now, in this exact moment. Transformation doesn't happen in a single grand decision. It happens in the 1,000 tiny choices you make between one breath and the next. It's the moment you feel the impulse to check your ex's social media and you pause. You feel the familiar warmth of that painful path calling to you. And in that pause, you choose to put your phone down and look out the window instead. That's a victory. It's the moment you're about to launch into the same old complaint about your job with a coworker, and you pause. And instead, you ask them about their weekend. That's a victory. It's the sleepless night where your mind wants to replay every mistake you've ever made. And you pause, and you choose to focus on the feeling of your breath, moving in and out, just for 10 seconds. That is the entire work. Every time you choose the new, unfamiliar, slightly uncomfortable path, you are rerouting the flow of your own life. You are taking the compass back. Pain is not your identity. It was just a signal telling you that you were walking in the wrong direction. By admitting you were the one walking, you finally give yourself the power to change course. If this video changed something in you, write in the comments, "I am the one who chose my pain." Write it as your promise. Nobody